So at the top of the hour, I'd mentioned tomatoes. I wanted to go deeper to that. Let me just take a moment. And so tomatoes are up, knee high or so, maybe a little taller, a little shorter, but they're actively growing very quickly right now. And so it is a time to encourage them to start to blossom. They should be setting fruit now. If yours are not, let me give you some advice that will help them to start leafing more and starting to set fruit. And there's a couple things I'm doing. First of all, let me start with I have pulled off all of my plant protectors. So I put this ring around each plant, tomatoes, peppers, squash, cucumbers, to protect them from the cold. It warmed the soil up so they root out faster. And then it protects them from cold, from wind, keeps some of the bugs off, but it helps them just to get a good start. Well, we're past frost. We're not cold anymore. I think it's time to pull these plant protectors off, and I have. And so these are, if you don't have a greenhouse, these are the greatest inventions ever. They allow you to get a month jump start on plants, especially those tropical summer plants. So locals use, oh, don't plant until Mother's Day without plant protectors. That's true. But with plant protectors, these rings, they used to call them walls of water. So you get these tubes that fill up with water, and then it collapses around the plant, makes a little teepee, a protective teepee around your plants. They're magic. They help you to plant a month earlier easily. So now you can get a jump start. So those are off. Right now, I'm also looking very carefully for any damaged, dinged, curled, any imperfect foliage. I'm pitching that off. Tomatoes want to die. They want to catch a disease. If there's 3 diseases in the neighborhood, it'll figure out a way to catch 4. So it just they are so sensitive. They have so many juices and fluids and sap, and they're just attractive to you and I, and to every bug, virus, fungal things that's out there. And one indication is at the bottom of the plant, you'll see yellow foliage or spotted foliage or curling foliage. Anytime you see that, pinch that off. It does not hurt the plant, but it keeps it from spreading up and down the stems or the branches or the vines of these plants. Tomatoes especially. So a little bit of squash, there's a little bit of yellow foliage, but usually that's just immature leaves. But again, things that are damaged, not perfect, that's a signal to nature going, hey, this plant's stressed out. Focus there. Let's go kill off the weak and just go get the weak. And so you want to keep those plants really healthy. It'll be towards the bottom, towards the ground. That's another reason I like to use tomato cages on my tomatoes. I use tomato cages for a lot of things. My peppers helps them grow straight and keeps them upright, keeps the wind off of them. I don't really need it, but I feel better about I've got them. Why not protect my peppers with tomato cages? I spray paint them different colors. They're kind of cute. They look like art out in the yard, out in the gardens. They're fun. But tomatoes really benefit in that it keeps the foliage from touching the ground. Ground is where disease kind of comes up from. And so if you keep that foliage from up off the ground, you'll have less issues. Vertillum wilt, if you get this curling of the foliage, it's deadly for tomatoes, and there's no cure. All you can do is pull that plant out of the garden, just rip it out of the ground, throw it away. Don't even compost it. Get it off your property because this stuff stays in the ground. So you want any kind of curling, you just take that off right away to keep it from spreading. Another one, as soon as they're up a foot, foot and a half, your tomatoes mainly, and peppers, start spraying them every other week with Blossom Set. So there's a vegetable blossom set. You spray the foliage, and it helps that plant to start to remember to set flowers, pollinate, and set fruit. It's a game changer, especially at high elevation. You'll use it more often here than you do other parts of the country because we're so cool at night that plants just forget to set fruit. It's a game changer. Secondly, I'm spraying the other month. So once a week, I spray my vegetables with something. Right now, I start with Blossom Set. And then the next week I follow up with yield booster, like stop. Yellow is yield booster. It's a liquid, just it comes in a spray bottle. You spray the foliage again, but it's liquid calcium. And so if you can get the plant to set fruit, and then you give it some liquid calcium, yield booster, you're going to have bigger, better, juicier, more flavorful calcium. That's what brings out the size of the fruit and the flavor of the fruit. It also prevents blossom end rot, where that flower touches the flower, you'll get this rotting black spot. That's a calcium deficiency. It's classic. And so that helps to prevent that. I know it's going to happen in the gardens. It has to do with our water. Don't have time to explain all that, but those two things: clean up damaged foliage, spray with blossom set, follow up the next week with yield, just counter those. Just blossom set, yield booster, blossom set, yield booster, blossom set, yield. Just throughout the growing season, you'll have a magical garden and more fruit than you know what to do with. That's my insider tip on vegetables. Be right back after this.